disappointment. Now the vice president often tell me, since he got a seat as vice president, how many persons have I recommended in this government to serve in the government as presidential appointee? Zero. Every appointment in Nima County was done by him. He and I would discuss something as a brother. To implement it, you will bypass me and do different things. I don't talk on it.
Now you need to deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrates us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to beat? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask.
The good person in our whole United Party, that President Baka. You want to say that again? The only person that appreciate good among all the United Party for that President Baka. The rest are ungrateful. The right, they use you and dumb you. But President Baka, if all of them were thinking the President Baka and behaving the President Baka, United Party will have another chance in 2029. Just for now, they do not regard people that help them. I'm not.
Of our soldiers were executed on this party ground. 2 at the back and 1 right at the headquarters. The man who shot and killed our people today is a dining boy in the Liberia National Police. They brought him back to shoot more guns. Get ready to shoot. Because we challenge the status quo appropriately.
Inform them in the violence or any student because of their action. It will be the day the entire Brothers administration will call down. We will massively violate the students in this country and we'll shut down the Brothers administration. The day that happens, we have the capability to do so. And if they think this is the renovation project is a joke, let them try it. The fall of the Brothers administration begins with this. If they think they will tumble in any student in this country or at the university like Boy and Water with impunity, while our children saving opponents and lottery in the Western world, while we are subjected to actual power and bad learning conditions here, and the thing will say. In
the first 100 days, no car will get stuck on the major road in this country. And I mean it.
You say it out loud?
It's going down. First floor. There you have it.
That led to decades of war still run deep. But so too does the longing for reconciliation. A reconciliation defined not by political bargaining or by an artificial balance of power by tribe, region, religion, or ethnicity, but by the equality of opportunity and a better future for all Liberians.
Boga can lie, the government, all the ministers in the government, they can lie. They don't put all hustle, they put hustle, they lie. Everything they say, they never say the truth.
Today, the supporters of His Excellency Joseph Boakai presents him as a poor man from Lofa and asserts that he will understand the plight of the poor people. Fellow Liberians, do not be fooled. Vice President Boakai is not poor like you, not even as me. As Vice President, his office received more money from the government budget than any other Vice President has received in Liberia's history. He has enjoyed some of the best and most lucrative government jobs.
There's this, what I call sort of vicious lie about the fact that Mr. Kobe is gay or bring gay lifestyle to Liberia. It's complete bullshit. When people can accuse you of stealing people's money, when they can accuse you of being involved in the war, anything, people don't make up stuff. They don't make up shit. Excuse my language, right? So it's complete nonsense. I'm married, 8 Teresa, 2 children, 5 grandchildren. I believe in traditional family values, so it's complete bullshit, complete nonsense.
The young man, vice president, young man that are vice president, the major stole 500,000. I mean, Jamaica, the major went to, I forgot that Jamaica, the majors went to Ghana, the fit, and they may bring it all company in the country. I mean, Kun Ninja can reach yourself. Kun man, you know, Kun, but I want to sophisticated, quiet, hardcore rule in Labro. When I remember, when
2029 come and pass, then you finally leave. Mission is completed. Now, what the rules of engagement? When the war ended, the guy said, the captain, the commander said, mission complete. There wounded out first. All men on board.
Everywhere there is no school, I'll put school. And everywhere there is school and school in bad condition, I'll renovate it. I told them, towns and villages, everywhere you will have lights in a town for children to play, for people to see. I told them, every town will have safe drinking water.
If Charles Taylor is the problem, he will be out of here in the twinkle of an eye. And I say, let well-meaning Liberians come home. If we respect this constitution, a government formed in Accra is a violation of Article 1 of the Constitution. Let them come home. Let that government be formed in Monrovia.
The government that capital Rosemont, B road, all kinds of the place. I think the reason Joseph Baga will not do much because the old man, the papa is suffering. The papa loves the country, but he can't make it. The criminal there around him, they sophisticated than him. They are sophisticated criminals, so they can't make it.
Your league Costa, God know how to pay people. It's just simple. Costa that accused everybody but himself. Everybody, Joe, we join, we kill Joe, he killed Joseph Boaga. Boaga still living. Joe, no, you leave better. He made me senator. He almost made Joseph Boaga president until he screwed up. We gave God the glory. Yeah. Well, Boaga, when he screwed, he said, oh, we don't want to make sure we fought for him to be reconciled with the president. And then the people who fought for him. Look, Yoli Costa, you come. And Costa was in a podcast, he said, they don't been calling me? Okay. The time you were calling me for me to kind of Boaga, did I put it on radio? That immaturity to do what you're talking about.
And I guarantee you, when we finish, there will not be a winner or the loser. Today we all wear the jersey of Liberia, and the victory belongs to the people, to the peace, and to our democracy. As we begin to build upon the foundation of this new Liberia, I, George Seleke Kromah, the new president, will first give thanks and praises to the Almighty God for the blessing He has bestowed upon our country. And I say, my people, thank you,
We elect on 85 irresponsible men what they happen to our country. We elect on 85 irresponsible men to govern this country, not to be very irresponsible.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our weekend. I want to take my hat off to you. You have made it to the end of the week. We want to thank our producers on the ground, the young men and women who stay up all night. Sometimes I wonder how they do it. I visited them, and it was almost 2 o'clock in the morning. And these young men were just getting ready to leave to come back within 4 hours. If that is not dedication and loyalty, then I don't know what it is. This is why I say once in a while, just send something to them.
directly send something to them so they can pay their way, get something to eat. Liberia is a very expensive place to live. If you want to maintain your lifestyle as you have in the West, Liberia is an expensive place to live. I remember my son visiting Liberia for the first time 2 years ago. He had just come from Ghana, other African countries, Ethiopia. He said, Dad, I went to Ghana with 2,000 US dollars. He says, I was like a king. I was rich. Everywhere else I went with my US dollars, I looked good. He said, but when I got to Liberia, I spent $3,000 in less than a week on transportation, on hotel, entertainment, families and friends, and a little bit of tourism to look around. I said this to say these young men and women who are working for you, every 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Liberian time, when you tune into the closing argument, you expect to see me or see someone at the helm. What you see me do here is what we consider the finished product. The show is like making sausage. When the sausage is on your plate, for those of us who consume and enjoy sausages, it looks good and it tasty. But you don't know how the sausage is made. Like my former boss used to say, when we go to these expensive restaurants in New York or LA or whatever, he will say, enjoy the food. Don't demand to see the cook. Those that are behind the curtains doing the dirty work, they are the ones that deserve credit. I want to say thank you to Myean, who is committed to this platform and to the vision. I want to say thank you, young man, and your colleagues. I met another brilliant young man by the name of Toby. And Bio, these are all great folks. Princess, on the ground, making sure that we are heard. And we want to say thank you to our parent company, Truth FM 96.1. All over the Republic of Liberia, we want to say thank you to Truth FM for making us heard around the country. We want to say thank you to Honorable Musa Hassan Bility, the proprietor of 96.1. It is through his generosity that we are here and reaching out to everybody else. I want to extend my gratitude to the management of the closing argument, men and women who have put in the time to build an institution. They are not building, or we together, we are not building a three-legged stool that when one leg falls off, everything crashes to the ground. We are talking about an institution that when one person leaves, we are all interchangeable, qualified enough to bring you the best. As I've always said, the TCA comes in all shapes, all colors, all forms. Different ideologies. We are conservatives. We are liberal. We are independent. We are vocal. Collectively as an organization, we are non-partisan. We do not take side. Whatever side our panelists take, it is their view and their beliefs. And we encourage folks to announce and pronounce who they are so folks can know who you are and where you stand. I am a conservative. I am a Republican. I want you to know that. I'm also a member of the CMC, Administrative Vice President for the United States and Canada. But we are going to be fair and balanced. We are going to give you the facts, the numbers. We're going to report and you decide. But we are not going to advocate for one side or the other. We want the debate to be firm, to be vicious, to be productive. We want it to be heated. We want it to be very passionate about your belief system. Without denigrating someone, without being disrespectful, without being rude. We want you to be intellectually challenged, yet be firm on what you believe in, but it should be based in facts. There will be room for us to bring in some of the G's. But today, as we come to the end of the week, we will do some week in review, and we have a little clip that we will play for you, the response from Senator Kamara. Every week we are going to play one of those clips from the administration and then from the opposition, so you can make up your mind. Forget about the delivery. Because at times I'm very disappointed in Senator Kamara. He writes very well, but his delivery is very poor. He is obviously not an orator. His delivery on the floor of the Senate, never up to par. Even when he's reading his own speeches, disappointing. But don't look at the delivery, look at the contents of the message. We're going to play that. Let's look at some of the trending news in the Republic. I want to look at the editorial from the Liberian Investigator. The press says, President Boakai, year number 3, we demand proof, not promises. That's the editorial from the Liberian Investigators. Finance Minister Garguah announces supplementary budget, say 2025 budget remains active. Got the whole international and national community in finance in an uproar. A gentleman that is known as Mr. Shawford is now coming up with another template. While the budget is in action, he is now sending in something he calls supplementary budget. We will discuss. The Liberian court reassigned hearing on motion to squash subpoena in asset retrieval case. We will delve into that. How far have they gone with this asset retrieval? Liberia expert warned of deadly indoor pollutant after 3 men died while sleeping in an enclosed room. While we do that, Myean, can you go to the clip? Let's look at Honorable Connors. While we queue, there you go.
In fulfillment of Article 58, members of the press, fellow Liberians. Yesterday, in fulfillment of Article 58 of our Constitution, President Joseph Newman Boakai appeared before the 55th Legislature to deliver the 2025 State of the Nation Address, SONA, and outline his priorities for 2026. This was President Boakai's third annual message to the Liberian people since he became president. To those of us who witnessed yesterday's event here at the Capitol, and to others who listened to him in Radio Land, the SONA was a vital constitutional duty in which the president reports on the nation's condition, outlines his legislative priorities, and set a national agenda for the legislature and the public. The SONA facilitates communication between the 3 branches of government. It serves as a key political tool for most people and provides a direct link between the commander-in-chief and the Liberian people. This year's annual message on the state of our country was an important democratic obligation midway into the president's 6-year term, and I wonder how many of us stopped to think about the uniqueness of yesterday's program, and also about our uniqueness as a people since the end of our bitter civil war, and the opportunity that this constitutional provision creates for a national dialogue between the president and the country. I want to acknowledge the effort and thank the president and his team for presenting the 2026 State of the Nation Address as detailed as it was. My responsibility today as a senator and a former Minister of Finance and Development Planning is to engage in a dialogue with the president, his team, and the Liberian people by providing an honest assessment of the state of our country, grounded in facts, one that helps move the arrest agenda for inclusive development forward. My assessment is guided by 4 questions. First, what did the president promise in his 2025 SONA? Second, what did the president actually deliver over the course of 2025? Third, what is the president now promising in the 2026 SONA? And fourth, what concrete actions are required to address the daily realities of prices, jobs, and services, all of which make up the bread and butter issues that all of us have been discussing during 2025. So I invite all Liberians to walk with me from the 2025 SUNA to the present. Along this journey, we will assess how the government performed against the promises it made last year, because it is often said that the best indicator of future performance is past behavior. If we are to place confidence in our president's new commitment, then we must first examine the outcomes of his 2025 SUNA promises. So let us take the inventory. Last year, President Boakai promised a decisive shift from rescue to development, anchored in the arrest agenda, and presented to the country an $8.4 billion national plan. He pledged to make agriculture the backbone of the economy, increase economic opportunities for Liberians by making them true owners of the economy, accelerate road development, expand access to electricity, strengthen governance and the rule of law, and deliver better services across education, health, water, and sanitation. However, while some progress was recorded in some of these areas, the reality, fellow citizens, is that 2025 fell short of the president's ambitious agenda. Agriculture, for example, funding was slashed and repurposed. Liberians remain spectators in their economy today. Foreigners are manufacturing and selling plantain chips in our country. The capital city remains filthy. Progress on major road corridors slowed down. Food prices decreased marginally, but consumers are still complaining of high retail prices in some areas of the country, even in this city, despite government intervention. Domestic production did not improve, and job creation did not match the scale of the unemployment crisis. Most of the jobs the president reported yesterday, and as he rightly said, were short-term or project-based jobs. They were not the sustainable private sector jobs that we need to absorb Liberia's growing youthful population. There were, however, bright spots in the president's accomplishments that deserve acknowledgement. Infrastructure, for example, saw meaningful progress, even though progress on key corridors slowed down. And we hope that those corridors will advance and a robust maintenance programs will be put in place to improve road conditions in parts of the country. Electricity access visibly expanded through new connections and rural electrification under a new dynamic management at LEC and the Rural Electrification Agency. And water systems were restored or extended in several communities led by a dynamic managing director. The Liberia Revenue Authority, led by my friend and brother Dopoh, delivered strong revenue performance, demonstrating compliance, administrative efforts, and robust reforms. The government also recorded notable gains in foreign relations, strengthening diplomatic ties and securing international goodwill. These achievements, nevertheless, must now translate into increased foreign direct investment, expanded trade, and stronger partnerships that create jobs and grow the Liberian economy. Economic diplomacy should become a central pillar of our development strategy going forward. These gains matter, and they show what is possible when institutions are properly led, focused, and resources are aligned. They also highlight how much more remains to be done. Yesterday, President Boakai also noted that an abrupt slash in donor support during the second quarter of last year disrupted financing for essential social services and economic projects, leading to job losses, reduced incomes, and hardships for many families. While the government stepped in to close some funding gaps and keep critical services running, the deeper consequences of that disruption were never fully addressed. Thousands of jobs lost during that period were not restored. Stored procurement contracts, including housing and community infrastructure, were not revived, and many of the affected communities and businesses have yet to recover. These gaps persist today and continue to undermine confidence in the government's ability to deliver sustained, broad-based economic relief. Of budget spending. From the public accounts and expenditures standpoint, when President Boakai said yesterday that the FUYA project is fully funded by the government of Liberia, at a time when there is no appropriation in the national budget and no evidence of a lawful procurement process, this raises serious questions about the use of public funds. This is especially concerning because any public spending outside the budget and procurement framework, as good as the project may seem, is irregular and requires immediate legislative scrutiny. Macroeconomic stability. I agree with the President on the macroeconomic stability achieved in 2025. Inflation declined, reserves increased, and revenue performance improved. These are important indicators that provide a foundation for long-term growth. And I applaud his economic team, led by my friends and brothers, Finance Minister Augustine Gafuan and CBL Governor Henry Samoa. However, macro stability alone does not translate into relief for ordinary Liberians. I've been there. We registered many gains in terms of indicators, but the reality was getting the gains to affect people has been the challenge for successive governments. The bread and butter issues remained unresolved. The prices of food and transportation costs, despite government intervention last year, still remain high in some areas, as I said before.
Ladies and gentlemen, you listen to close to 20 minutes of Senator Amara Connect. I have one advice for Mr. Amara Connect. I don't think you are a presidential material. I don't think you are a leader. From your reading and your speeches, you cannot motivate anybody to move from one chair to the next. You are a poor orator. Your message delivery system needs a lot of work. I got a text here from folks that say you have put them to sleep. look at some of the things he talked about, he compared and contrasted President Joseph Boakar's prior SONA speeches, promises made, and where we are at this point, and he concluded the SONA 2026 fell far short if you compare to the speech last year and all the promises he made. He said key among those is the fact that Liberians are still spectators in their own economy. Prices are very high. Lack of domestic production or productivity. He said besides the glossy speech written by the president, the reality on the ground does not match the speech. He also mentioned electricity. While the administration said they have expanded electricity in the city, our rural families, and even though in the city itself, Monrovia, electricity is an issue. Even the House of Representatives, the Capitol went blank, dark, men and women sweating. A few months ago, there were those who were peddling this notion that Liberia has been rescued from the dungeons of bad electricity. But when I spoke to the experts on the ground in December, they said just a matter of a few weeks, as the water level in the hydro becomes lower, it doesn't matter who is in power, until that is addressed, you're going to go back to status quo. So those who were running around peddling this false hope, including my friend and brother, Samuel Jackson, now has to reverse himself. That we were operating at the mercy of the water in the hydro because it rained a little more, and it was raining up to January. We still have a little water. Some friends and I went to visit some friends we went to have to watch the African Cup of Nations at a beautiful restaurant called The Fusion. We experienced electricity blackout 4 times within an hour. He talks about our water system, water and sewage, water and sewer. A gentleman by the name of Mo Ali I was in the middle of a delegation of international diplomats. And we were running at the embassy going down Benson Street, and they told me, Mr. Gayman, don't go too far. If you went down Benson Street all the way to Gurley Street, he says there will be nothing but raw sewage. Before you enter the compound, you will have to You will have to sanitize your shoes. Basically, he said, it has been like that since I touched ground on this soil in 2011. Someone is not capable enough and competent enough to remedy Liberia's raw sewage in the street right next door to the different embassies. But yet, water and sewer will go to Bapolu or somewhere and take a little photograph of something they have done and say, we are producing water and sewer around the country. Yet, few blocks from the embassy, people can no longer walk the streets because of raw sewage in the streets. He talked about, I think it's LRA Dopoh Jala, talking about record revenues, surplus revenue. But how do you reconcile that with surplus on the other hand and budget shortfall where employees cannot be paid? He also said he has issues with the administration and her economic team. After our donors pour out of Liberia, the government have not been able to reconcile the difference locally. The government has failed to respond positively to the withdrawal of international partners. So here we are today, we are talking about the so-now things that you and I have experienced. And Mr. Honorable Cunning, in his own weak way, a man that was seen sharing tears from his so-called war room, bringing Joseph Boakai to power, promising that the good days of Liberia have returned. And you heard the president himself said, if you elect me, in the first 90 days, there will be no car stuck major highways in this country. We talked about the president's speech about creating 70,000 jobs. There is a funny video now from a comedian, very famous comedian. I think Myean knows him in Liberia. I think his name is Angel Gabriel. Angel Gabriel.
Angel Michael.
Angel Michael. If you could find that video for briefly so we can play it. Today is Friday. We're going to be all over the place. We can find it. He says, the president is right. Do you know to sit and be hungry? That's hard work. So the president is right. If you are hungry sitting in your corner somewhere, you are working. The president will count you as being employed. If you are somewhere and you and your wife or your spouse are fighting because you are frustrated, you are working. The president is right. If you are down waterside as a child and you're setting your potato chips, The president is right. You are working. If you were even in prison and you are sitting up, looking at a wall, passing time, you are working. If you are in a hospital and you are fighting for your life, fighting to live is a work. It's a lot of work. President Joseph Boakai said, you are working. So yeah, the president is right. Everybody in Liberia is working. If you are protesting in the streets, that's work. It takes a lot of work to protest. You are working. So Myean, if you can play that video briefly, play it. Let's have some fun. Today is Friday. Let's have some fun. Let's listen to how Liberians are dealing with their situation. Some people, when things get rough, they turn to substance abuse. Some people turn to deviant behavior. This comedian has put this in pure context as to how the corporate elites, the political class, are making mockery of the regular people. Those of us who are not in government, those of you who are not in government, those who are in government said the economy, their lifestyle grew by 5.1%. They are not talking to you because your economy, your lifestyle did not increase 5.1%. So yes, the president is right. Their bank account, their vouchers, their fuel, their cars, their security, their scratch cards grew 5.1%. But if you were a mother selling at a red light, I don't think I can convince you that your lifestyle, that your economy improved 5.1%. If you were a mother who gave birth on the sidewalk of the Redemption Hospital because you couldn't afford to pay to enter the hospital, President Boakai is going to find it very difficult to convince you that your economy, your lifestyle grew 5.1%. When you are ready, anytime, young man, you can play. And if you listen to the former leader of the Liberty Party, Councillor Bronskin said, do not be fooled. Joseph Boakai is not a poor man. In 1 year, Joseph Boakai made President Joseph, at the time, former Vice President Joseph Boakai made more money than the entire Lofa County Hospital and Community College combined. He is not a poor man. And you heard the opposition leader, Musa Ability, said, we are going into the different neighborhoods and we promise them with the little meager resources, with our own resources, we are going to build bridges. If you tell us you need school, we can build it, we'll build it. And wherever we build a school, we are going to electrify it because that's the right thing to do. Because it is the right thing to do. If you are a custodian of the nation, It is incumbent upon you to do good by the people. And a young man out of Lofa County by the name of Clarence Moneybar, he wants the republic. The poor government spending have threatened Liberia's long-term growth. So the damage they are doing now will be around for a long time. He gave an example. For those of you who are mortgaging Liberia's resources for 25 years in advance, for bonuses today, you are mortgaging the future of Myean. You are mortgaging the future of those kids who are selling chips. You are mortgaging the future of Liberia. Most of you in your 70s and 80s and 90s, you know this is not your time. Your time has elapsed. You have expired. So you don't care what happens to Myean. You don't care what happened to the 20-year-old and the 15-year-old and the middle schooler. You are leaving them a hole that they may never be able to climb out of because you have mortgaged their future. Let's listen.
Now, the president delivered his speech yesterday. In his speech, the president said that he created over 70,000 jobs, and then the whole social media got boosted, where people from opposition, they said, "Oh la la," even the United Party partisans, some of them, they said, "Oh la la." Living in Liberia, that job. You don't know that full-time employment to be a Liberian or living in Liberia? So you want to work also? You don't go really, you see the people that go back job women and the way they can be money behind car for it or in a planet job. Go over there. You see people fighting for car for 3 hours, 4 hours, just to go to town. That one another job. When we go to the club, those short time we can call when they get there, short time or somebody asking how much for the night. They charge you that job. Because you want to your Lagos. Another way, you now see drunker, how they can walk. You are at work. You are fully employed. To be in Liberia, inside when you work on that way your work starts. Once they born you in Liberia from JFK or from any hospital, by the time you see the light, you start work. Oh, you want to work also go where now? Poverty is a job. If you don't know, go to other countries. The people decide when to eat, how to eat, and where to eat. For here, we do not decide eating. Anytime it can, that work. Oh wait, you want to eat meal? What you now? Okay, when you go in the market to go buy, you want to buy 15. Now walking around, you can walk all around looking for the cheapest one. And that job? Oh, you want to go to eat? Go here now. There fufu here. Why you can eat fufu? So even face a fufu, that knock it, you can knock it. The strength you using, you not working. And that job? Even when you graduate from you're supposed to be retiring now from the job market because you're feeling fighting for armchair. You not love for chair, man. You're fight for chair. Oh God. And that way, you fight for car to come home. You fight for car to go on campus. That way. You on Facebook defending, say everything okay in the country. The president saying he has created over 70,000 jobs. Then boom, you jump out and say, oh la la, who are you? Who are you? Okay, the screen you get right now. So even argue on Facebook, to say oh la la, and that job, you're not working. You are employed on the phone. That also to swallow GB. That job. Market women selling red and water start to allow. Oh, where police people money behind them whole day. You're not working, you as a market, you're not running, you know, so no job, you're not working, not job. The amount of people that are running behind actual speed, right? When you came to Liberia, that jobless people there, somebody who not get job, will run from West Point straight there to Iraq. You making for that job. Please now listen. The game I'm about to display right now is on Starbed platform, right? All you need to do is to go there, use my promo code in your in capital letter. Just click the link in my comment section there. The game we can play on our phone, and then you see how best you can win right now. Look at the game right now.
Ladies and Myean, you see, the folks in the West, they say life and art, they are intertwined. And they say art imitates life. This is what we are talking about. This comedian is so brilliant that he has translated our fears, our plight, into comedy that anybody, you don't need to have a PhD in mathematics or a PhD in philosophy to understand exactly where he's coming from. A child being born in a hospital, coming to this difficult life, when he or she opens his or her eyes and just look at his son in the Republic of Liberia, work has begun. So he is saying we should count those babies as fully employed. Being poor in the Republic of Liberia is a full-time employment, according to him. So the students in Bonney County still displays as primary school renovation field. Those students being displaced and walking from place to place with nowhere to stay, according to the comedian here, that is a full-time job, being homeless. Hundreds of students in Bonney County remain without a proper learning environment more than a year after the government pledged to renovate Bonney Junior High School. That's a full-time job for young folks, young men and women. Their school building destroyed. And politicians making long speeches promising everything. A year later, they are waiting in vain. This comedian is saying being disappointed, being lied to, is a full-time job. They are employed, fully employed, he says. Someone mentioned that at one point the Speaker of the House went to JFK and promised $20 million. And people were cheering. Today, the hospital is asking, where is the $20 million? JFK was dancing, cheering the Speaker. $20 million US. Let me recognize a few of our folks. Emmett Harmon, following from K-City. Thank you very much for tuning in. Mark Zikor. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name. Good evening, sir. Kona Samson Kong, I am watching. Hopefully you will tell us where you're watching from so we can send kudos to your city, your county, your home. And let me say hello to the ambassador, Des Johnson. I had a great time with you in Liberia. Thank you for all that you do. The basketball tournament went very well. I heard the planning team, the host team, They are now getting together, gearing for December to make it better, expand it to different counties, and have the young people involved. Hopefully you carry enough koto with you, because the old timers say, we're falling all over the place. Let's have some young people involved. Let's do like we do here. Do some for high schoolers, do some for college kids, do some for middle schoolers. And let's get a little people involved. Everybody in Liberia needs to be busy. As you and I saw, all the children are in the streets. There's no park, very few parks in the Republic of Liberia, just 2 that I saw. And Christmas Day, I could not drive from the U.S. Embassy to downtown using the back route, because the Unification Park was a place of hundreds of thousands of children. The movement of young people across the town going to Unification Park. Finally, when we withdrew and went around the corner, when we got to the Invincible Park, there were no way we could get out there. There was another mass movement of young folks, well dressed, beautifully dressed young babies. Everybody trying to find a way to these parks, those 2 major parks. We want to thank the former administration for the farsightedness in building a park for these young folks. It is my dream, I have made an appeal to Honorable Musa Ability, that with God's help, every district in the Republic of Liberia should have a park. If you become president and you do not have any legacy, but if every district, I think about the 78 or whatever district we have, if every district will have a park, a playground for the young folks. Parks and recreation have a place in our society, in all modern societies. Parks and recreation serve as a crime deterrent act. It has a health component. It has a major social component where people meet and network. So parks and recreation should be a part and parcel of every developing community in the Republic of Liberia. Let me welcome J. Victor Nagbe, the Secretary General, Secretary Worldwide, Global, you name it, that's him. Welcome, Honorable Victor Nagbe.
Thank you, Mr. Gayman. It's good to be with you. What's up, Myean? Nice to see you. Also, thank you for.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes,
Nagbe.
thank you for all that you do. And yes, it's good to be with you. I was watching you in the back there getting ready. Let me join you in welcoming our colleague, Special Ambassador Johnson. I'm glad he was able to get with Musa while they were in Liberia. I know that we tried to connect the 2 of them. It was just a little tricky, and I'm glad he was, able to meet Musa on the plane. I read his write-up, so I'm very happy that they were able to come together. I'm happy that you were also able to meet him in Liberia. I know you went to Buchanan a couple of times, so I'm not sure if that's where you met him, but I'm glad you met up with him. So, and I hope, I think what he's trying to do is one of the things that we, those little things we all do separately, but that add up to, I think, make Liberia better, that we're all looking forward to. So I really hope that, what he's been working on and what he wants to do in Liberia, I'm sure the fruit will begin to show very soon. So congratulations to Ambassador Johnson. Let me join in welcoming our audience as well. Thank you for joining us. It's Friday. A couple of things I wanted to quickly. I know you already moved on, but I watched you play, Ambassador. Senator Kamara, and I think he's sometimes I feel for him. I don't want to say he's conflicted. Is he getting a buyer's remorse? I think so. We all know he worked for this vice president. For this president, when he was vice president, he worked with him under the with the Ellen Johnson government, and he was very pivotal in bringing this president to office. But I think he has, he has become, because he was becoming increasingly disappointed and frustrated. I think he has probably crossed over to the other side. I am not sure if he is still considering himself a part of the rescue team. He has really been very forthright with his frustration, his disappointment with the performance of this government. I heard you say, he may not be fit by his presentation, but I don't know. I kind of I like I said, I think I understand his pain. I feel I think I feel a bit of what he's feeling. But my question is, and maybe it adds up to what you're saying. What does this say about his judgment? He worked with his vice president. He knew him very well, and he was one of those who championed his campaign. One of those who ran his campaign. We all, remember the much talked about election night returns. How he was very, very, very helpful in subverting whatever intention that other people may have been harboring, to miscarry the result of the election. So he was a part of the rescue train, and I think he has really, I think he has crossed over. I think his frustration is boiling over. So yeah, I appreciate what he's doing. I've read his writings from the Salameta debate, to the HPS debate, to the road going to the Bombing Hills and Cape Mount debate, and now the state of the nation. He's pointing out some very salient points. I am more concerned with what he's talking about as opposed to his delivery. I think the point he's making, are very valid. What did the president promise, and what did he deliver? And how can we then, based on the promise, like he said, what is it? Your best, best predictor of your future performance is your, past performance. If we're to listen to the promises that this president made, the resolute and what do you call it, resolution and something else I forgot, but looking forward, trying to encourage us to move forward with him. The question is, what have you done so far? This is your third year. So I with a lot of questions, and then the amount of misrepresentation in this state of the nation, it's really surprising how people could be so brazen, as if to say, we don't have any more the capacity to fact check. I mean, the president was virtually talking when people were fact checking him right on the spot while he was speaking. And most of the stuff that they wrote for him to read was false. And I think those are some of the things that Ambassador Senator Conner is pointing out. And to crown that up, I listened to Angel Michael. I mean, that was probably the most pivotal and pointed message, debunking all these claims about 70,000 jobs. Right now, the way you and I are talking right here, we are employed. I mean, we are working. John Michael, we are working right now just by saying we're part of the 70,000 jobs that have been created by this government. I mean, that's like John Michael is saying. You're saying that you're swallowing your GB that way. How can you say you're not working?
Do you know how hard it is to swallow GB? That's work.
You know how difficult it is to swallow GB. So you cannot say you're not working. Just let me have your hand, put it into your mouth. You're part of the 70,000. I like that. I really like that skip. But before I pass it on to you, and maybe we'll talk about this in detail. I like to join you in wishing the CMC political leader all the best. We know he is at the head of a very, very powerful uh, delegation going down to the southeast. I think he arrived today in Grand Gila, District Number 3, with the Honorable Representative Jacob Debbie, and they will be touring the southeast region. I think Grand Gila and River G, and hopefully we expect them to return to Monrovia on Sunday. So it's a listening tour. Go in there and listen to our people, like we always do. We started in Nimba, we moved on to Bong and Lofa. So now and Kidman as well. Now we're trying to head on to the southeast. You are aware when you and I were in Monrovia, we actually were leading a delegation of you, myself, Timon Collins, who is the global vice chair for political affairs global. And we were in Liberia, and he had a delegation, an advanced team, a fact-finding advanced team, to go and make sure this trip, will get off on the kind of footing that it did. We saw the turnout; we thought it was good, and so we wish the political leader and the team. I saw the chairman. I saw Mrs. Billity on the team. I saw the vice chair for legal affairs. Wadi Powell and other, colleagues on the team. So we're wishing them all the best. I know I spoke with Mr. Smith over yesterday. He's on that team as well. And let them go and listen out to our people. There's a lot of need now in the southeast. I think probably the most dominant need that the people have is the road. And the Honorable Musa Azambility has made it known that the yellow machines that he's bringing from China very soon, some of those will be sent to the southeast. I know he said that repeatedly. He reassured us, those of us from the southeast, and you yourself included. So we're happy about this trip. We hope that it will give me a better feel, a better picture of what our people go through in the southeast there to help him commit to helping our people. His wife herself is from the southeast. I think she's from Sino, and so we're very excited. We want to wish him well. We can't wait for them to come back and bring their report and tell us what it is that the people are telling them in the southeast and what it is that they need and how they can be helped. So I'm glad to be with you here today. I know we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do ourselves some favor. Share the show, send in your comments. We got Edward Gowa, is a Gowa Jala. Today is the 30th of January. Please change the date on it. Okay, thank you very much. This is why we are talking about our audience. You are fact checking us as you were doing Joseph Wagner doing the soda. And if we made a mistake, if we are a day behind, I can see here 1/30/2026. Yes, we are going to make the correction. Myean, if you are listening, it looks like I have my date wrong there. So
it's already been made. It's already been made.
Okay. So thank you very much. We have made the correction. Vinicius Junior Bar, following from Nuclear Town. Thank you very much for tuning in. We love our folks from Nuclear Town. Before you used to tell us, don't go to Nuclear Town, don't pick force with a crew, man, because they don't like to fight. They don't say we will fight. They say, I will beat you. So the fight is out of question. It's just a matter of...
It's a strategy, you disarm your opponent with your mouth, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, we're known by that. We get big mouth. I don't fight, I beat people.
I will beat you. I will beat you.
I will beat you. But Jerome, quickly, man, before you move on, I know we have a lot of important things to talk about, but every once in a while we lose a great one. So I just wanted to, mourn along with millions of others. The passing of Catherine O'Hara. Those women, she was the mother. If you watch the movies, Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, and Kevin's mother. I understand she passed today at 71. She
Yes.
she was a great one. Almost everything she touched, turned to gold. Lately she was on the series with Jim Levy, the funny guy with the heavy eyebrow. He and his son, they call that Shakes Creek. I mean, I couldn't get tired watching it. But she left us, and just a great loss, and deepest sympathies to the family.
Great. This brings us to when we're talking about delivery in high school, when you do public speaking 101, wherever you go, the style of your speech, delivery is very important, because in leadership, the primary objective of leadership is to make people do things that you have as a vision. So how do you encourage other folks to see things your way? You have to be motivational. It has to be through your passion, your delivery. And this is where I come when I talk to Mr. Kamara Kone. When you read some of his writings, you are encouraged. It is so well done. But then you see, when you juxtapose the writing to the man who is doing his own reading, his own speech, he's having problem reading his own speech. Then you wonder, did he write this? So we are saying, I'm saying, maybe he's a technocrat. He may be like the Chris Matthews of the Democratic Party that were writing speeches for John F. Kennedy. And he writes it, and John F. Kennedy delivers. He writes the speech, and Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton delivers. But Chris Matthews could not deliver the speech that John F. Kennedy would deliver, because those are two different skill sets. So when I look at Senator Kamara Kone reading in his office, inaudible, I think Joseph Boakai can beat him to a debate. The old man can beat him to a debate. This is a young man in his prime, and he's speaking, and you can't hear anything. And he's reading his own paper, and he's moving, I don't know whether it's a speech or what he was reading there, but he will take it, and like we said, the cheat sheet. If you're not too sure, make sure you look at it. So you will read his thought and you put it by. How can you do this? Someone that is reading, someone that is making a presentation to the nation on a critical issue of debunking and criticizing the performance of the president, and you perform worse than the president. Your take.
No, I agree with you on this one. And for those who say politics is only about substance, I think they're wrong. Politics is both about substance and form. The one person I remember in recent Liberian time, right, who combined both, maybe two. Garrett Bacchus Matthews was one. Matthews knew form and substance. He knew how to carry himself. I mean, if you ever saw Matthew enter a room, he will command the room. His delivery. Charles Taylor was another person. Charles Taylor carried the pomp and pageantry, of a leader. I didn't agree with him much, but he knew how to command the room. And you're right. Politics is about persuasion. It's optics. You're appealing to the people. You gotta throw your charm. You gotta, that's what the charisma is about. If you look at Musa's ability, you can see that he's coming into it now, little by little. His first few deliveries, I told him they fell flat. His last, Christmas Day message, I said to him, Chief, you gotta get a teleprompter. He said, Chief, I got it already. So those are the things. Senator Kone has political ambition. He needs to put a team around him, and that's why I don't know if he does, but a lot of people talk about, maybe as you say, he's too prudent. What should I say? I don't want to say stingy, but he needs to build a team around him. He needs a sounding wall. You know, the delivery that he made there, somebody should have told him, you know, if you're going to make a statement, you know, the most difficult thing to do is to follow the presidential message delivery. Even here in the States, whenever the president of the United States delivered the State of the Union, it's almost always. I mean, who doesn't remember Marco Rubio drinking water, you know, from the glass and all that? It diminishes you, so you have to really give it your best because people are comparing you to the president, you know. So you got to give it your best shot and look presidential. So yeah, I agree with you. I think the senator needs to do better on his delivery. I read his writings because he makes a lot of sense when he writes, and because he also knows what he's talking about. He's been there, done that. So he needs to work on his delivery. I disagree with you that he should be written off simply based on his delivery. I think he has something there. I mean, I hope he will join the CMC and come in. We could utilize his skills. I don't know if we will have space for him. We don't have a president. We don't have a stand-up bearer yet, so there's space under the tent for everyone. But I think his delivery really didn't do him any justice. I read his writings. If you were to read the way he writes, I think he would have really. But that delivery that I saw, I hope you'll go and work on it. I hope the next one will be much better. Create the presidential aura. I don't know if he have flags behind. I'm not sure. No, he didn't look presidential at all. He didn't. Before I pass it on to you, this Jim and Borough lady here, she's something else. Yes, we came back here. We've been having a good time. She wasn't here. I don't know where she's been, and now she's back here. She's talking about what kind of gift we left. How do you leave gift on printer? I don't even know what that. You're the operator to explain that to me.
You're missing the joke. The joke is, the water and sewer chief Mo Ali went to an interview. And he presented facts on a piece of paper, and it turned out that the paper he presented was from the previous administration from President Weah. So when they busted him and said, "But this is from President Weah," he said, "Oh, the one that I really wanted to present."
I love the printer. All right, Jane, I get it now. I get it. I missed that interview. Everybody talked about it. Said Mo went on anyway. But it's good to see you back, Ms. Nyenwolo.
Yeah, Jan, the young folks in Liberia, we extended your heartfelt gratitude for what you do for our folks on the ground. Through words and deeds, you made a substantial contribution.
She did.
To make the Christmas or the holiday a little smoother than it has always been, and we want to give you your flower while you are alive. Absolutely. When we're talking about delivery, let me go back
Happy New Year, Gene. Happy New Year to
Happy New Year. When it comes to politics and administration and history, this is your home. Let's go back to 1992. The U.S. presidential election, vice presidential debate between Vice Admiral James Stockdale, if you can remember, a highly decorated Navy veteran and Medal of Honor recipient known for his iconic slight confusion during the debate. Yeah. When the light came on, he said, "Who am I? And why am I here?" And the whole place just went wild. He has over-prepared to be there when the light came on. When you over-memorize.
Yes.
And the people say, "Don't stump your toes." So you go, boom, you forget everything.
Overload,
came on, they introduced the Ross Perot's vice presidential candidate, got so confused.
Yeah.
This is a man that is a decorated veteran, vice admiral of the United States Navy, qualified, knowledgeable, but his presentation, when the light came on, and this is the same moment that Amara Connor is going through. I listened to him on the floor in the Senate. And my daughter noticed one of the twins said, Daddy, his accent is different. Is he a Liberian?
Yeah.
So that accent is like when our ambassador to the UN, the ambassador man, I don't know, what part of ambassador he's from.
Hey,
Louis
hey,
Brown.
that's my best friend you're talking about.
Yeah, Louis Brown wants to sound like everybody else except Liberian, and he would say like Liberia. How in the world would a Bassa man born in Bassa in Liberia try to mimic a Nigerian accent? Representing the Republic of Liberia at the United Nations and reading for some group they call 3A or A3.
A3, yeah.
You are reading for A3 and as a Liberian, but I guess when he got through with that foolishness, Bush, Trump said, okay, man, put that there.
So, Louis, we go way back from high school days. We know each other for a very long time. Somebody wrote that he never left his high school attitude behind. I think in some sense that person is not wrong entirely. Louis is a seasoned diplomat. But there comes a time when you get in that spirit, you know what I'm saying? You sometimes you let your what shall I say? You're feeling good about your delivery, and you just adapt, a funny persona. Louis is a very he's a seasoned diplomat, as I said. I think this is the second time around at the United Nations, if I'm not mistaken. I think they brought him on simply because of that. And he understands the environment. Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to him in a while. I will definitely put in a word and tell him, look, when you're on that stage, you're on a world stage. You're not at the University of Liberia campus again. This is not a student integration movement, campaign. You gotta speak like a real diplomat. I think I was concerned about bringing in that funny pronunciation. Sometimes we do the rhetoric thing every night, then you that funny accent, you want to make a point. But the point that he was making, and many people are faulting him as being partly responsible for Liberia being put on a visa restriction list, and I really totally reject that. First of all, as a seasoned diplomat, I don't think Louis is going to take a position that is totally divorced from the position of the government of Liberia. You have to consult with the principal, talk to Madam Surayanti Beslow, to the president, before you adopt a position. Two, the A3, he was reading on, they started 3 countries, like African countries on the UN security, non-permanent members, Somalia, I think DR Congo and Liberia, and I think he was asked to read, simply because Liberian men let him beat the boat business. They saw him and say, my friend, you read better. You go and read that thing. So he gave it to Louis, and Louis went and read the integration movement and Siri thing over there, but the content of what he delivered, I believe, look, right now, we're in the throes of this Trump presidency. Everybody is walking gingerly, but what he said was not wrong. How in the world, in this day and age, you get up and go and seize another president from another country? How? A sovereign nation. And the United States did that. They went to Honduras and seized a president who was duly elected. Venezuela. I'm sorry. Now Honduras. Venezuela. So I think those countries were speaking on the principles of the United Nations. No interference in the sovereignty of other nations. And I believe Louis, represented. Now, if you want to talk about, missing the mark, then you got to talk to the government of the Republic of Liberia, because the position that he was espousing, that is the position of the government of Liberia. I don't think it's Louis Brown's position, that he was, I don't think so. I think the position he took is the position of the government. Otherwise, they would have recalled him a long time ago, don't you think?
Well, when you and I were in Liberia, I think we were in some diplomatic circle. We won't name who they are. But one of the questions one of the guys asked was, who are these people? This was a gentleman from Angola. He wanted to know who were we.
Yeah.
Because he observed that we didn't have an identity. Are we Americans? Are we Africans? Are we, because everywhere you went, there was, like he said, in our chat rooms, it looks like there were different Liberians. Depending on the flyers that came into the chat room, you will see another group that is totally devoid of the realities on the ground. You will find that the AKAs of the world, the sorority, the fraternities, that is strictly, basically United States based. They have their own group where they meet and they have events and they send invitation to each other. They entertain themselves, and then you have another group that will put up a flyer and say we'll be meeting at Calabash, or we'll be meeting at this, and then another group will come and say we'll be meeting at this other place. So you could see the dichotomy.
Yeah.
And as you go to this event, you will see how people are trying their best to be as close to the United States and further away from Africa. So when you see a man by the name of Brown, that's supposed to be a Bassa man, going to the United Nations and speaking as a Nigerian, it reminds me of Dr. Famule. Sometimes you see Dr. Famule and you want to know.
That is exactly what I was about to say. When we were in the student politics and all of that, I think we were affected. We were taken by women blighting, and the H-Boyma family delivery. Yes. I don't. He was LPP. I was UPP. Dr. Family was. I'm not sure if he still is, but a lot of us were taken by his delivery. We thought his delivery was. Back then, we would listen to Dr. Family, argue and deliver and. So I think a number of us of that certain age, we imitated him at some point in time. And so once in a while, his intonation, his speech, it would slip in our speech. And look, that's how we learn. I'm not going to be embarrassed to admit it here. We imitated a lot of people when we were growing up because we were very limited. It's now that we've traveled and, we've learned and gotten exposed. But most of the time, we were monkey see, monkey do. And most of these guys were our leaders. There are a lot of guys who are today who sometimes guest till Matthew did, Gabriel Matthews. And I think it's just a fact of life, we imitate each other, you and I here, there are things we do and together. Sometimes we mimic each other. It's just human nature. And so what Louis did there, we all did that when we were young. It's just that I would agree with those who said perhaps, when you come on a stage such as as big as the United Nations Security Council, and then you have to be careful. One, you represent a country, Liberia. You represent a continent, Africa, and so you want to make sure you are truly representing. The way he spoke was not necessarily an accent outside of Africa. Yeah, like you say, he sounded Nigerian at times, but more like Sierra Leonean. Because women blighting, I think he was of a Sierra Leonean and Dr. Famule, he had a British and Sierra Leonean accent mixed, and threw a little bit of Liberian, and so I think Louis kind of forgot himself and it kind of slipped out. I know he spoke like that. Louis is very, very well spoken. He's, we had a lot of respect for him in our circles. The left Mabudu Vlad. There were a few of them who could carry his speech, and Louis was one of them. He knew how to weave, the words together. And so I'm not really, I'm not too hung up on his delivery over there. As much as I think the substance of what he was delivering, that's what I would like to talk about. Did he say anything contrary to the government that he represents, the government people? I believe he was pushing. I don't want to say towing, but he was pushing the line of the government of the Republic of Liberia.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I like this name, Erdogan Jala. If you went to Turkey and you use that name, maybe at some point some folks may say,
I saw it first. That's what I was thinking, and I think they call it Erdogan, right?
yeah, Erdogan, the G is silent, whatever. But if you name it yourself after him, you will have some visitors soon. But yes, Emmanuel Bro, you said good afternoon, the closing document panelists and my fellow viewers watching from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Thank you very much. You're in the right place. If you're going to protest peacefully, stay out of people's way. Do not impede, do not obstruct, and do not confront. You can make your case peacefully without crossing the line about power in this country. A living bra is better than a hero bra that is dead. So, Brother Bro, thank you very much. And all of our brothers and sisters.
Nora is still on the. She's still on the retired sovereign campaign. Is it?
Yeah.
You're too bad. I don't know where you can come from.
You know,
you can't be forced.
I think it was 1994, 95. No, I think it was close to the 2000s when Honorable Michael Matthew was invited to Morehouse College in Atlanta to speak, and we assembled at the home of A.B. Williams, the editor-in-chief at the time of The Perspective, and the place was packed. When Michael Matthew went to speak to the university, when you're talking about a man who exudes the confidence of a pure diplomat, when he began to speak, the entire audience, you could hear a pin drop. This is what we are talking about. But then he used a word that stuck with me. He says, everything that you see in Liberia and those who are suffering, including those who are members of the ruling class, the political class, he says their deficiencies are all part of what we call our orientation, your personal orientation. If your orientation was to be around men and women that says, do you know who I am? If that dominant culture, if you were part of that dominant culture, you take on the persona of that culture. So, yes, for those of you who were among a group of intellectuals whose culture was foreign to you, you became part of that. You walk and talk and mimic the way they talk. That was the dominant culture. But yes, it has a way of being psychologically embedded in you, and it goes with you forever. And this is where Brown falls, because he doesn't know who he is. And the guy from Mozambique wanted to know, who are you guys?
Well, I agree with you, Jerome. It's a confusion that I think is afflicting all of us. I mean, you and I, we go to Liberia, we wear Western clothes. It's because we look at the Americans and we imitate them. It's just, we need to find, and this is a being long debate in Liberia. Who are we? What is our national dress? You understand me? By Timo and other people, they came up with these Vi dresses. If you remember, there was a time, I think, what is guy named Bambani or whatever, one of the lawyers, I think, was barred from the Supreme Court because he wouldn't wear a suit and tie. I forget. But what is our national dress? But the thing I'm telling you, you were talking about Matthew speaking at Morehouse. I just Googled it. Let me be honest, and the return is I think October. It says October 23rd. I believe March 23rd, October 23rd, 1979. So I don't know how
I was not in this country, so I know that's wrong.
Yeah.
But when you
Yes.
spoke at the Morehouse, I was there. It was in the 90s.
Yes.
And I will get a copy of the speech from A.B. Williams, and hopefully we can publish it. But
so
yes,
that debate, I'll pass it on to you, has been raging for a long time. You know, who are we? What is our national language? There are a lot of people who believe we should have a national language of formal national language of communication. You know, we still use English as our formal form of communication in government. You know, you go to some of the foreign, you go to Ghana, almost everybody speak one kind of, no matter where they come from. They understand each other. There is one national language that everybody understands, I believe. It has been a long raging debate about Liberia being able to do the same thing. What is our national identity? What is our national dress? We still struggle with these things. So yeah, and I don't want us to leave it on Louis alone. I think all of us are just as confused, in trying to figure out who we are. And at some point in time, we adapt a certain persona, and then at other times, we adopt another persona.
well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome Honorable Boniface D. Satu.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
From where I sit, if you are into Greek mythology and you are into philosophy, that phrase "from where I sit" goes all the way back to some of the great philosophers and writers of all time. So when you hear the word "from where I sit," you should be trembling, because you are about to go into some deep, thoughtful debate. And it brings us back to the Senator Kamara Cornet. If your future depends on your presentation, you have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Because someone like Louis Brown or Dr. Famule or even Joseph Boakai, or old guy, old hand from CWA, they will eat you raw and spit you out because you speak with no confidence. You have problem reading your own handwriting. It makes people wonder, is this man that been writing, or behind the scene, is this AI production? Is somebody doing the writing for him? Is he a ghost writer, or does he have a ghost writer? Because when you are in school, this is the reason why when you're in graduate school, or even the old classics.
Yeah, boy, Johnny is crying. See again.
No energy. I told you better go get your own energy. In fact,
no, let him go talk to your uncle.
Johnny, now only you should talk to your uncle. You better watch your car battery.
Oh, now you talk. They make you live in a car, you carry oil around. Now you talk. Johnny, you know that. When you come like again, don't carry nowhere.
The battery was in the car.
They broke in the man's car, and
Johnny can't sleep. Johnny always looking out the window because of the battery. But Johnny,
one eye open.
Johnny, welcome. But this is what we are talking about. When we are talking about the old days, you graduated from Torgbean High School. Those of you that went to school during the old days, whether it is high school, community college, or college, undergraduate or graduate, you have to have something called a thesis. And the best thing about the thesis is you got to defend it.
That's right.
After you give it to the professors, they share them on themselves, and they say, come back tomorrow and defend it. And you stand in front of the audience, and they quarrel you about the methodology, your presentation, your research, your citation. And you have to align those things with your thought, that you are original. But if your beautiful speech is written and glossily written, and you come out there and you don't remember what is on that piece of paper, you cannot defend it. Some people may even charge you for academic fraud. So what we are talking about here has nothing to do with personality. It is factual. If Kamara wanted to be the standard bearer of the UPP, he's going to debate some giants. Oh, you got to find your way out of that paper bag. But as I see it, Connor cannot find himself out of a wet paper bag. It's going to be rough.
I absolutely agree with you on that. And as a politician, I think these are the little intangibles, that appeal to people. As much as, yes, many people will follow you for the policy positions that you represent, but some of the people just come in because of the way you carry yourself, your delivery, and look, the powerful politicians we talked about, Charles Taylor, we talked about Gabriel Bacchus Matthews, H. Boyma family. You come on this side. Ronald Reagan was one person who will mesmerize you. I mean, Reagan had that even monotone. He would carry. Barack Obama will build you, he would pick up the speech and build the cadence and take you to a crescendo, and then he would deliver the punchline, and he got you hooked, you following him. I don't know, the senator wrote his own stuff, and it looks like he was having difficulty even reading the stuff that he wrote. And this is my first time. Actually, I listened to the whole thing. I think it's about 19 minutes or something like that. I listened to the whole thing. And to be honest, I had a lot of expectations, and again, all of us don't always hit it out of the park. There are times, you will underperform. But I was underwhelmed, I have to say. I look forward to seeing more deliveries from him. Maybe it was his first in a long time. He's going to probably go back and practice a little bit more and come back. But that delivery that I saw, it did not represent, I agree with you, it didn't match the writings that I have read. It lacked conviction. It lacked, there was no charisma in it. I couldn't find, I didn't get hooked on it. And again, as a politician, you're throwing the punches from all corners. You're throwing the substance punch, you're throwing the charisma, punch, the form. And some people know Charles Taylor coming to Monrovia, people were just following because he had the longest convoy. That was one of the things that, and of course he knew how to carry a tune. Taylor could, he could really, really mesmerize you. He knew how to, read the words, know how to deliver them too. So there are people like that. I'm not saying, Senator Connor should be a Charles Taylor, but he has to, like you're saying, find himself, find his voice. Who is he? And and take on his own persona. But what we saw on that tape, I hope he's not trying to be that person that we saw. The delivery there was really, it was very, very unappealing, elementary, to say the least. So, and again, I hope, and I know him is a very, from his writing, he writes like a very, even tempo guy. This is not a criticism at all of him as a person. It's just the delivery. I think the delivery could have been much better than what he delivered on that tape. I mean, maybe you and I want to deliver, we might probably do worse than he did. I mean,
obviously,
yeah, it counts with practice. He has to practice a little bit.
Sometimes someone just text me here and say, who did he beat in Bapolu for that sort of thing?
Okay. So
I think he beat Boto Kane.
No, Boto is there with him. He beat Pumpkin on Spoon Network. And so if you ever watch Spoon Network, instead of with a small day, I'm not gonna beat you. I think I don't know how many other candidates in the race Point I will appear on well, anyway, let me leave that out. But I think Paul Kennedy was one of the candidates that he beat to that point.
Oh, that Connor beat.
Yes.
So that means did they have a debate because we didn't see it, we didn't see anything.
But Jerome, was there any real debate? I mean, I know in the 2011 election, Bromsky, Ure, all of that, I think they had a debate. Am I not right? In this world, I think that President Bouaka and Dr. Weah just refused to debate. Dr. Bouaka and Dr. There was no debate.
Nope.
No. And we're going to push for that for 2029. When I say we, platform as the closing argument, I hope our guys here, these major, we should push for a debate. The people should come and tell us, why do you want to be president? Why does it have to be you? Come to us and paint a picture of what you intend to do. I think that's exactly what Senator Conner was saying. Take promises made against what has been delivered, and then we will decide whether you're trustworthy to go with you into the future. I think that's the whole substance. Come and tell us why you want to be president, and then if we're convinced, and we'll follow you into the future. And that's something we will be pushing from the CMC. We want a debate. We want to have a debate. Why you think it is legacy worthy to go and spend. Anyway, we are not there yet, so I will leave it alone.
Someone just texted me and said, same can be attributed to Honorable Cummings. He is not a forceful speaker and is not inspiring.
That person may not be wrong, and I'm not saying this not because I don't support the CPP or the ANC, and I was supporting the CPP, but I had to have a little bit of concern with, I mean, and this is with all respect, please, my ANC friends, don't be calling or don't be texting us here. We just talking. But Alex Delivery, and this is a guy who was a CEO at Coca-Cola Factory, a big company. But I have concerns about his delivery. Again, should we worry too much about the delivery as much as the substance? Unfortunately, in Liberia, yes, people get carried away by your form and very few people by your substance. And if you're going to win people over, your form matters in Liberia, unfortunately. And I cannot really say, the analysis come after the speech, but to say, what, Mr. Cummings really moved me with this delivery today. I struggle to reach that conclusion.
Well, you are saying, in Liberia it matters, but that's not true. It matters all over the world. Let's go back to some history. 1960, Kennedy versus Nixon debate. The first televised U.S. presidential debate, fundamentally shifting political campaigning toward television appearance. We talk about form, you talk about delivery, you talk about appearance, all of these things. So when it becomes visual, like I have always respected Mr. Conant. I read all his posting and everything else. But then visually, when he appeared, I listened to him first on the Senate floor, and he's poorly delivered. And then in the comfort of his office, he's not among anybody yelling and screaming like in the Senate. He's sitting in the comfort of his office, and I don't know where he was looking and reading these things, and I'm saying to myself, so what is this? So this is what we are talking about. It is not just Liberia. It is not just Monrovia. This is when we talk about the visual context of how you look, how you perform. This is why when you are going to debate, every political party has
debate prep,
wardrobe experts.
What
you wear, the colors, the tone, the makeup, everything. When they like him on, Nixon began to sweat.
Yeah.
The nervousness, he began to sweat.
Yep.
Okay, here you are facing a candidate who is basically a playboy. He looks good. Everything he wears looks good on him. Even if he speaks nonsense, it looks good. Like, let's look at the former president, George Weah.
George Weah, yeah.
His delivery, he is the master of the zinger.
Yeah.
He may not go toe to you with the philosophy and all that stuff, but when he captures the audience.
Yes. Because you know what, Jerome? George Weah is an entertainer. He's a funny man.
That's correct.
Yes, he's a comedian. And the one-liners, the zingers you talk about, that's what comedians do. There's always the punchline. They will say the dirt and then they deliver the punch.
Where's
that's
the beat?
why.
Where's
that's
the
why
beat?
if you give. I was going to say that's why if you give President we have something to read, then you miss him, you kill him. Let you talk.
That's right.
He go extempo. He is himself. Why he telling them, my man? What the beginning who I tried to attack him in PHP, say but I'm thinking too. That is classic.
I mean, he stole the show. Those guys were planted to go embarrass the president. So they came over there, and the Secret Service, I don't got a special unit or all that, wanted to go arrest the guy. He said, no, leave them with me.
Leave them
go. Come on, my man, listen. You are mana picking, I'm more mana than you. The whole place just went wow. And he disarmed and disrobed those guys, and they left. But that's what we are talking about. You see, sometimes politics, you are at your best when you are unscripted.
Yeah.
Okay. You just go over there like.
And you're talking about Jerome. Sometimes even you can have the best message. Sometimes that's what we are saying here. Sometimes it is how you deliver what you're delivering that will give you the impact that you desire. Johnny said he got current coming out.
Yeah, he said, but he's sitting outside the current. He got in the moon. He's sitting in the moon is his current.
Don't come from the tail way be drinking one style outside there. You can't. If you make it noisy, if you can't, we'll drug test you.
Well, Honorable Victor, Nagbe, somebody taking you to task. You said, come and work at the Coca-Cola factory.
Yeah. And I just said, we just talking. All right, if I said Coca-Cola factory, I am sorry. So
listen. Mr. Moore, 3840, we are not reducing Mr. Cummings to the factory. No, he never worked in the factory.
No.
You know what we are talking? He worked at Coca-Cola Corporation. So we know that. We're not taking anything away from the man.
I beg you, man. I take it back. If I said Coca-Cola factory, I met Coca-Cola Corporation. I know Alex was in the boardroom. How you be in factory? You be in boardroom. I just said it, man. All right, I'm sorry. I'll not say it again. I'm not talking like that again.
When you say factory, you thought you say he was doing the bottling, or packing the bottle. No. He didn't work in a Coca-Cola bottling company. He worked at a CEO of a brand, Coca-Cola Africa. So we understand that. We understand that. But yes, this is what we are talking about. Today is Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Anything that is on your mind, we will discuss. On my end, if you have time, come and educate us. Give us update on what's happening on the ground. Give us a weekend review. What is trending? What is on the minds of the Liberian people? You are out there like we did. When we were in Liberia, we were in the streets. We were riding the keke. We were everywhere talking to folks.
I tell you, riding the keke and the pimping.
We did not meet with government officials because we did not want to have a regurgitated talking point from radio station to radio station. We wanted to go directly to the folks and see what they said they were doing. So on my end, if you have time, come and give us an update. Johnny, I know you don't have power, so you can't come on. But if you can list here what is trending in Liberia, what is it you want us to discuss, we will be glad to do so. Today is Friday.
I understand the president out of the country again, Jerome.
Yeah. They say he gone for high level talk in Ghana.
Nobody called one high level. Nobody. They said, I think somebody who was keeping score. Is it like 28?
I love when they say high level. Can you imagine? You just go say we're going to have high level talk.
High level.
You won't go on vacation. You just get up and say,
Yeah, high level.
High level talk. What is high level talk? This is why
I wish Sylvester Pewee would come here because he was on one of those high level visits because he been with a presidential trip. He was sitting here yesterday after we left here, man. Tomalin, yeah, talking all kind of talk. He talking about he went on a presidential trip and then, they give you a per diem. Now, still you eating from the president's pocket, So I hope you will come here and tell what a high level trip actually is, But yeah, I heard the president is in Ghana. I think he's on a high level trip. I don't know what he's there for. I don't know. Hopefully, because we don't even hear these things anymore, and let alone get a report when he gets back. The president just slips swear. Then he come by. They say we are going to Ghana. So repetitiously because he had blank and blank. I don't want to say that thing, but yeah, the president. I don't even know if they have. I don't know. Maybe they announced it on the radio that the president was in Ghana. I heard it from another platform that he's in Ghana, and I think he left. My friend Simon Steve Quayle in charge, and you'll be consulting with him while he's gone. I think he's coming back Saturday or Sunday or something like that.
Yeah, on the home front, American football, the Minnesota Vikings fire about Kwesi Mensah, the gentleman that was hired, or Ghana boy that was hired, brilliant young man. But he didn't do well in Minnesota, so they say the Vikings have fired general manager Kwesi Adolfo Mensah after a 43-25 record, including no playoff wins.
But look, I don't know. Look, and maybe he was part of the decision. So sometimes if you look at Matthew Stafford, right, and Jared Goff, two of them switch positions, right? And two of them are doing differently, but doing better than they were doing when they were with the two teams. Jared Goff was with the Rams. I think they went to the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. They didn't win. And then he and Matthew Stafford, he went to the Lions, and Stafford came and, Stafford took them to the Super Bowl, I think last year or something. I think they won the Super Bowl. Didn't they win the Rams? I think they won it. Yeah, I think they did. Then, I think with the Vikings, with the problem they're having, I think they made a bad judgment call on Sam Darnold. The guy now who is taking the Seahawks to the Super Bowl, he used to be their quarterback, and he did exceptionally well. For whatever reason, they decided they didn't want him anymore. And the man just left. Okay, he took a talent, like LeBron would say, and took it to South Beach. He took a talent and went to the Seahawks. And look what did they? Yeah. So I don't know if it is Kwesi's fault or they just made a bad judgment call, and they're trying to scapegoat or whatever it is. Talking about that, the Eagles too. We are with Eagle Nation. Right now we're watching with bated breath. Last year we had this offensive coordinator, Kevin Petullo, who had never called a play and came on as the offensive coordinator and could not call a play. We had Saquon Barkley from being the MVP of the last game to being nothing, only because he did not have the tricks and design, the offensive design. Everybody could predict what Saquon Barkley will do for the next 3 games ahead, and they will be right. No creativity. So now we didn't do well, and now we've hired another person with the same credential, but now they're talking about him being bright and he hung out with Sean McVay, the guy at the Rams and all that. So, but this guy's name is Kevin something O'Hana or something, but he has is claimed to NFL as being a backup quarterback, but these are the times when the teams begin to restructure and start getting ready. So if the Vikings fire my African brother, I'm sure he will go find another team, but I think the problem is bigger than him. That's the point I'm making. I think they made a wrong call on the quarterback change. Nothing against the current quarterback that they have, but you know what they say: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't try to fix it. So they had a good quarterback in Sam Donald. They decided they wanted better, and they changed him out. And now the man went to the Seahawks, and he's going to be playing on February 8th on the biggest stage in the entire world, the Super Bowl.
Well, talking about sports, let's follow the event at the African Cup of Nations. FIFA came out with some ruling and some heavy fines against Senegal and Morocco. They said CAF statement released on Wednesday outlined that the Senegal Football Federation have been fined a total of 615,000 US dollars for unsportsmanlike conduct of their players and technical staff in violation of CAF disciplinary code principle of fair play, loyalty, and integrity. Senegal coach Pepe Tia has been banned for 5 of the next 6 2027 AFCON qualifying matches and handed an individual fine of 100,000 US dollars for bringing the game into disrepute. Senegal player lineman Ondil and Ismail Sarr will miss the first 2 qualifiers for the next AFCON later this year for unsportsmanlike behavior towards the referee. The final saw Senegal walk off in protest, and Morocco began giving a late penalty after a VAR assistant referee viewing movement after Senegal had scored a goal and it was disallowed. Fans tried to storm the field. Journalists fought among each other, and after a 15-minute delay, Morocco missed the penalty. Senegal went on to win the game in extra time. Afterward, Morocco head coach William McGuire said the game had given African football a shameful image. Morocco also was hit with a big fine. Morocco Federation were fined a total of 315,000 US dollars for unsportsmanlike conduct and improper conduct by the players, coach, and supporters. A whopping 200,000 of that total was for the behavior of the stadium boys, who attempted to seize the tower being used by Senegali goalkeeper Mendy on a wet night in Rabat in an apparent bid to distract him from minding the goal and for Morocco to score. An additional fine of 100,000 was imposed for improper conduct of players and technical staff who invaded the VAR review area and obstructed the work of the Democratic Republic of Congo referee. There was also a $15,000 fine for Moroccan superstar supporters used laser to try and distract the Congolese players during the game. Can you imagine?
Yeah. I think the fine should have been bigger on the Moroccan for the poor management. Yeah.
The captain of the Moroccan team, Hakimi, was also banned for 2 games with 1 suspension. And Morocco, Ismail Sabrani was also banned for 3 games, both for unsportsmanlike conduct. Wow. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about fairness in the game, sportsmanship. We are talking about the display of pure cheating. How can the government allow spectators to carry laser at the game to blind the goalkeeper and the players when I see?
But that's a good concern, and that's why I was saying to you, I think Morocco should have been fined much bigger than that. But again, the FIFA, and before I move on, let me just say to my friend here, Martin Willie, didn't we already just say here, let the ANC people sit down and take it and relax? So Martin Willie, all that thing you writing there, my man, I don't here to compare Mr. Cummings to Mr. Ability. we're just calling it like we see it, oh man. So yeah, you're right. But then I know nothing, So let's move on, yeah. But uh, you know, how is FIFA? The Senegalese, they had a complaint against the management of the game. So who did they take this matter to? FIFA judge the matter, and also, they were the judge and the jury at the same time.
And the
They were the one.
execution.
They were the one who were being accused, right? Because they were managing the game. They were managing the African Cup of Nations game. The Senegalese were saying that the penalty that they called against them was wrong. And also, you're right. There was a goal that they scored that was disallowed. So I maybe they shouldn't have attempted to walk off the field, and but they were trying to protest, and the match official wouldn't listen to them, and so they said, okay, but we will not participate in this charade because this is unfair. Yeah, and so we were waiting for the game for now 15 minutes or so. Johnny says he's in the back. Maya, if you can hear me, Johnny is in the back. So I maybe the fines, but I think FIFA itself they did it themselves. They need to do a better job at this thing. I think the arbitration, they need to do a better job with the arbitration process. I think they can't be the judge and the jurors. The same thing. People talk about Musa ability being banned, all of that, only because he raised some issues that FIFA didn't like. Again, they became the judge and the jury. How can somebody complain about you, and then you sit in judgment of a complaint against you, and then you deliver judgment? I mean, this is the same thing they're doing to Senegal and Morocco. But having said that, I think some of the things they did on the field, that you and I will watch. All of us will watch the game. We watched some of it in Liberia. I remember we watched, I think, one or two of it at Fusion there. We had some fun there. But they can do better than what they did. I agree, and I think FIFA themselves, they need to find themselves. I wish they did, because I think they themselves, they did not manage this process properly. Senegal had a legitimate concern. Yeah, I agree with the way they try to handle it, but maybe they should have just stayed and filed a complaint afterwards. I don't know, but I think the reaction to I think it was not the right judgment call.
Well, Johnny is back. He called his uncle, and uncle turned the generator on.
Uncle turn the generator on. Hello, nephew.
Yeah,
Hey,
nephew.
uncle. Hey, uncle. We did thank you.
For the few times, we don't know how long you're going to be on the air, so you got to talk fast. Welcome, Johnny.
Yeah, thank you, man. I've been following you guys, sitting out there, enjoying nature, the moonlight. And as soon as energy was restored, I said, well, let me join my colleagues on the show and help inform Liberians about, governance and election, especially the issue of debate. Debate is so important. That's when candidates should provide the information, show their capacity, show what they have in them in terms of what they can do. But again, and like I say in the note, the various platforms, the closing argument, all other media need to take it as a responsibility and our obligation
Yeah.
to educate our people to know the importance of debate and why they should hold their leaders accountable for making debate. Look, when I ran the election in Lofa in 2020 central election, that was one thing that I was looking up to, because that's what I depended on in my election. I didn't have the kind of money the other guys had to do those big heavy lifting financially. But I said, well, I will make sense during the debate, because I believe that the election is not just about who has more money. It's actually a competition of ideas. So I said, this way I'm going to propose my ideas about how we can adequately represent Lofa County. But you won't believe it, right? Most of the guys did not turn up for debate. In fact, one debate I went to, out of the 11 candidates, I was the only candidate that turned up for the debate. The entire 10 candidates refused to come for the debate. Seriously, this debate was held in Fungiman. It was sponsored by USAID, I think some group, where it was led by John Colley and the Duke debate. I mean, it was so bad until, and I remember one other man, he used to be the county inspector in Lofa. He said, if people were serious in Lofa, this young man will be our candidate. He will win the election because he has protected Lofa by coming to turn out and for this debate. But they were 11 in that election, as I said. But the other 10 guys said debate they didn't matter, and so they were going to do the regular campaign thing. But I attend off of that debate, and I took advantage of the time. The moderator gave me the time. Said, "Look, my man, go ahead and use this platform to expand more on your agenda. For the people of Lofa." And that's how I went. But in worst case, I did not win the election. But I think it's important for us to do more discussion as early as now to inform Liberians to know that debate is important in any democratic space. If we want to learn from America, we should see how the Americans see their debates to be so important to them.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are on this platform and we are talking about debate, please don't say, well, the president is not coming, so I won't go. The president has what he wanted already. He's president. So, according to him, he has more to lose. It is your time to shine. The president shows up or not. That Bill Clinton used to say, I will be the first there and I will be the last to leave. Get there. Carry your message. Be a Jehovah's Witness, political Jehovah's Witness from door to door, person to person. This is how it works. So yes, if Liberian politicians, not the politicians, if the Liberian truly want change, you have to hold these people accountable by following them. There are 2 or 3 debates. Be very cognizant of what they say, because they may say one thing today and then they flip flop on the other day, until you can hold them accountable and say, well, Johnny, you said you were pro-choice in the last election, people boo you. Now all of a sudden here, because the people boo you now, you anti-choice and the people clapping for you. So who are you? So this is what we're talking. This is what we're talking about. Mr. Nagbe, we are just talking about debate. If you were Amara Conant and you had someone like Johnny or Charles Taylor, will you show up with that kind of presentation that he did? Will you show up in that group?
And welcome, Johnny. It's good to have you, my brother. I understand, what you're going through, but thank you so much for making time to join us. Jerome, people still writing about our comment we made over 1 hour ago, and we were not saying nothing about anybody being better than anybody. We're just talking about the various deliveries. But anyway, coming back to you, look, if you were to put, those 3 people you mentioned, I don't know if, like I said again, this is my first delivery I have seen of Senator Kone, and so yes, I register my concern about it, but I'm not going to use it to make a judgment call on his capacity or ability or his oratory skill. I think he can do better. I just wanted him to know that when you come into these things, you either come or you don't. But don't come, have come and have don't come. I think that's what he did. I think he didn't come. He didn't come enough. Is the point we're making. Having said that, I agree with Johnny. I think debates. First of all, when you show up for the debate, I think it tells the people that you care. You care about the fact that they want to hear from you, and you also care about making sure you're telling them or you're appealing to them for their vote. You can't just assume that they're going to vote for you anyway, because what? Because you did the most projects, or because you made the most speeches, or but you have to come to them and sell what it is that you want to do for them, and give them the opportunity to choose. But when you don't come, then I think it's in the front, because then what is it that they're buying from you? So I think this is matter, and I think I can understand our voting, population. There are a lot of limitations that we have, access to some of these things, media and all of that stuff, and so you know, debate may not influence that many votes, like debates do on this side. But notwithstanding, for those who like Johnny and you and myself, who will want to scrutinize, the candidate's platform, is this person, able to go in a room of investors and influence that room? you know, is this person persuasive enough, for somebody to want to put a trust in his government, that kind of thing. Those are the things we're looking for when we go to watch debate. Does he understand, global trends right now? You and I were at the university campus, and you said that the other day you alluded to that. Our young people who were debating, I think there was a total unawareness of what is happening internationally. They're still talking about free education being paid for, by international partners. So that kind of thing, you want to make sure the candidate, is in tune with both nationally and internationally. They understand, global politics, all kinds of things. Debate will reveal to you, and that's how you make your choice. So I think it's important for our candidates to submit themselves to debate, and I think if you don't, there should be consequences. Rejection or whatever it is. But we've had many of our candidates, especially in recent times, who have come to office without a debate.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, we were going to be talking about leadership next for a few minutes, and then we're going to go to Johnny to actually give us an update on what is trending on the ground. So let's look at, we just talked about leadership, but let's look at the definition of leadership, and then you will see, it will encapsulate what we are talking about. It said leadership is an art of influencing, motivating, and enabling others to contribute towards an effectiveness and the success of a common goal and vision of the leader. It is a process of social influence rather than just a formal position. You can write out position all you want. That's not it. That involves you, the leader, guiding, empowering, and uniting people to achieve shared objective. You as a leader, you should have the ability to look at someone and say, we are all willing to die for to defend this nation, our flag. Are you strong enough? Are you convincing that this flag is worth dying for? When you look at the iconic pictures around the world, you will see that picture from Iwo Jima, where 10 or 12 American soldiers on a fire are holding that flag up, making sure that flag doesn't fall. The objective is to plant that United States flag on that mountain and say, we have conquered, we have arrived. And they had a great general in Dwight Eisenhower who would encourage the folks and say, let's go. Or a great commander-in-chief when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. You heard what the president of the United States says, that this day will live in infamy. That was FDR. These are movements we are talking about when they say, who can lead the folks? Or you look at Winston Churchill, after the Germans have begun to attack Great Britain from all angles. It was he who summoned the courage. men, women, and children that the Great Britain that he knew were dying for, and they were ready to fight. This is what leadership does. This is what an orator's skill is required. Even in the waning days of Charles Taylor, he was going down, but he was fighting, and he says to the Liberian people, I have only one regret. Have I known what I know now, I would have been much closer to Washington, D.C. He said, as I leave, my intent is to return. God's willing, I shall return. Knowing that he was never going to return, but he left that hope. So let Johnny talk while we pick up the definition of hope. Those of you who are theologians, we are now going to go into theology. What is hope? Johnny, give us an update on what's happening on the ground. Then we're going to go back into theology and then end this at 7 o'clock. Talk to us what's happening on the ground. I want you to talk fast because I don't know how long your light is going to be on.
All right, so Liberia is calm. Liberia, since the president delivered his message on Monday, the entire week was, characterized by responses, defense mechanism, justification, and everything else. Today is calm, and the president made a quick trip to Ghana. I understand it was about some security, meeting or conference. He emphasized on the peace and security in the sub-region. If one member of the community is not safe, then everybody else is not safe in the community. Other than that, we are here. We are in the dry season. Our energy is not stable as it was a few months ago, which is obvious. Like I always tell people, you cannot expect to get what you don't to get what you don't have, or you cannot get what you don't have. If the hydro is just 84 megawatts, you do not expect to supply 50 megawatts, 100 megawatts or more if we can generate 84 megawatts or more than that. So we'll be like this until we can improve on building more energy sources in the country, maybe through the hydro system, more rivers, or maybe through wind system or solar energy. But otherwise, it's calm, Like I said yesterday, even though our president, my uncle, said inflation is at 4%, but price of goods is not, commensurating with that inflation rate. So I'm hoping that the government and those responsible for the economy to do better, to serve us better, will do the necessary so the people of Liberia can benefit from their God-given blessing in this country. Like I want to get my drugs, my medication from the pharmacy. I pay $10 every time I go and get it. But this time around, I went and got it for $15. They didn't even say $12.50 or $11. They went straight to $15. 50% increment right away. I don't know why. So we're hoping that our government, the duty bearers, they are the duty bearers. They have to perform. They have the obligation to give us better living conditions that we desire for ourselves as Liberians. So that's where we are. Everything is calm. Today had a good weather, no rain today. We had nice sunshine. And so far, that's what I can say from my perspective from being here in Morovia. I did not get out of today from Pinsville. I spent all my day in Pinsville. So whatever happened in any other part of Pinsville or part of Morovia, I cannot get account of based on what I don't have. I can't get what I don't have, actually. So I'm telling you what I know, what I heard, and from my perspective, I'm giving you a report on Liberia from my perspective.
Honorable Victor Nagbe, this is what we are talking about. When Mr. Comey says the people will not eat quota, the people will not eat blueprint. Whatever 5% you are experiencing at the executive mansion is not trickling down to the average person. When you say inflation is as low as 4%, you cannot tell that to Johnny. Johnny's inflation just went up 50%. And you want him to believe. You want him to disbelieve his own eyeballs and his own feelings. He said he was purchasing his drug for $10. Now he went out of a sudden, it went out of $15, which is 50% increase. And yet you want him to believe that the 50% he just paid is actually 4%. So there's a disconnect. And this is why we want to define the difference between faith and hope. And the theologian will tell you that faith is the root of everything. When you talk about leadership is a faith. For you to have it is the root. The leaders have to convey and build that root, and it takes courage, it takes skills. And what is hope? Hope is the fruit, the final outcome after you have instilled faith. That these people have faith that when they work for you, when they work for the country, at the very end, there will be some fruitfulness to their work, to their sacrifice. This is why a leader has to have those things that are convincing, which is, can you make me to do something that I really don't want to do? Can you talk to me to wake up from my despair, from my bed, and get up to go to that market where I will sit all day and nobody buys my banana that is getting rotten? But can I have another hope to just go and say that maybe there may be somebody out there who looking for rotten banana to go do rice bread? Maybe. Talk to us about hope.
Yeah. So first of all, let me talk about what you were talking about the economic data, the numbers versus the reality. What people are feeling. I mean, Johnny's story is just representative, I think, of the disconnect. I agree with you that we're talking about. If you say the economy is improving, inflation is low, and all of that, it should be felt on the supermarket shelf, on the market tables. People should be feeling that. I don't know that people are feeling that. So if the economy grew by 5.1% and inflation is low, as the president reported, I think the best gauge would be when you go to the market, what they will tell you. I mean, there are various clips of the market people, lamenting the hardship that they're going through. Most of the prices have gone up from what they used to pay before compared to what they pay now for most of the goods. And, some of them, they're not selling. They tell you I've been sitting there sending money, nobody has bought anything. So I think there is a disconnect. I don't think the president may have made that up, but I think, I don't know, a lot of people are questioning now the veracity of most of the information that was contained in the president's story. So again, Kamara Senator Connor is one of those people. The CMC has also expressed, the impression that most of the stuff that the president reported was exaggerated. So, but having said that, hope, the leader, like the president, the leader is just like you said, to lead. You have to bring us over the horizon. You have to paint for all the vision that a common man like you and myself are incapable of painting and paint us a picture that will aspire to. Ronald Reagan talked about, what did he say? The light on the hill or something.
Yeah, shiny city on the hill.
There you go. So you have to be able to inspire that kind of, aspiration, that kind of confidence. And to do that, that's the hope you're building that will go with you in hopes of arriving at that place that we're not able to arrive at on our own individually. You will help us and take us there. And because of that, you will be asking for us to trust you and that you know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about. But again, if you're going to come to the state of the nation and deliver a statement that is riddled with questionable, claims and assertions, I don't know if if you're inspiring hope by doing that. I really think it was a mistake. Whoever wrote this president's statement, and again, I don't want to limit everything to this one statement. I think it is also it should go beyond the statement. It should be also by deeds. What it is that they are doing that will inspire hope. I don't know that there is much that we can point to say, what, we're glad that we give these people the mantle of power. The previous people couldn't do this and couldn't do that. We're glad these people are here now. Look at what they're doing. This is what we're talking about. This is what leadership means. This is what these guys who are here they couldn't do, and look at what these people are doing. Can we say that about what we have today? I don't know that we can say that. I want us to be able to say that, but I'm hard pressed. What is it? The roads. They came and spent what $8.9 million, and level out the place. And look, when the rain season came, what happened? LEC, everybody talking, LEC is staying long now, but now, Johnny couldn't come on today because LEC has gone back to being the Christmas tree that it was, and so, they have 3 more years. I'm hoping that eventually they will find their way, and find their way and inspire much better hope, and give us reason to trust them to take us beyond the horizon, take us to that place that we the ordinary people are incapable of describing. Come and tell us, what do you intend to do for us over the next year or two. So Amara Kona is calling the question, what was promised the last sort of Sona, what has happened, and where we're going next. Hopefully, we'll figure that out. But as it is, I think there is a lot to be done to inspire hope in our people.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got about 22 more minutes here. Johnny, there is something here from Actual Factual 2. He says CMC should be educating the voters, not just building infrastructure. Voter and civic education of the Liberian people will take you guys a longer way, in my opinion. I think this is very similar to what you were talking. This is somebody who is not anti or pro CMC, but he's saying on mobility should not only concentrate on building bridges and roads, but like we are all saying, voter education, empowerment, awareness, these are things that we should be doing in addition to building roads or infrastructure. It shouldn't be just physical infrastructure, but intellectual infrastructure as well.
Yeah, you're right, Mr. Gilman and Nagbe. It is incumbent on everyone, or especially the political parties, all political parties, to see it as an urgency, for a matter of fact, knowing the history of how the people of Liberia have always voted. If we want them to understand the change, to have a whole paradigm shift in this election process, we have to do a massive awareness raising. Everybody. I mean, maybe the incumbent may now get interested because probably they will benefit from what is happening. But if we all want to have a real change in the country, you got to start with the people. And the political change comes from the people instead to have the ability to read between the lines, to understand, to not just say because I'm a town today, if I want to Kasawadi rest and go for the man. To understand that their vote is not just for today, it's for future. It has impact on your children. So all of us here, that's why I said this platform should find time, even on every day, if it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, to find some literature or something to say about the country, the state of Liberia, and how are we obligated as citizens to form our government? Because the government represents us. So whatever form of government you got is exactly who you are. So like right now, I tell somebody the level, the quality of people we have in the country as our leaders represent us. That's speak to say that's why we are as Liberians. Majority of us, even if you like it or not, the people we elected that are in office as many as senators and representatives, and those are the presidency, they represent us directly. The kind of persons we are, kind of people we are, is what we have in our government. So if we want to change that whole system, we have to make sure that as of now, going forward, we make sure that we educate our people to know the importance of election, the importance of debate, the importance of being sober-minded in making decisions. Because election is a decision-making process. It's not just a fun. But people see election for some kind of social gathering. Go there, that period of election, running around, campaign, have fun, enjoy traveling around the country, enjoy traveling in the rural parts, having access to some natural food and things. They feel that's all about election. But that's not it. It's actually about that. We have 6 years to go with this government. We've gone 2 years already. We have 4 more years. If this government doesn't do anything that will improve the standard of living, that will give us hope for better standards, 6 years after our age will be older, right? So we've gone 20 years now since 2005. What have we achieved? What can we boast of as a country? That we are a post-conflict country. This is our identity. And I always say, look, for example, right? We always talk about Rwanda as a post-conflict country, but they have transcended. They've gone beyond the post-conflict situation. They have made a mark. Now you see in Europe, you see on the English League, they have visited Rwanda, and everyone goes to Rwanda now for. I mean, like every other month, there's some kind of conference in Rwanda. Like this week, there's a big conference going on in Rwanda where they have invited some senior level ministers and representatives and government officials that Tomalin will be having a 5 days interactive discussion with them, teaching them about ethical leadership. You understand? And before he starts his graduate teaching, they have that as a separate thing for him to do this week, as of Monday to Friday, teaching leaders on the continent about ethical leadership. So Rwanda now is a hub for a lot of activities, and that is also impacting the economy. Just last year, they had a world soccer competition there. Everybody left around the world when they go to cycling there. So we have to trust Liberia to say, as a post-conflict country, we will be the best country in the region with the best medical facility, or the best educational system, or the best sporting. I mean, something that will make us to be known in the world that Liberia came from war. They have buried the ashes of conflict. They are moving forward, and they're not going to look back. But we are still at the same level as though we are just from 2003 war. In terms of look at our energy system. We've gone 20 years. We are still at 84 megawatts. So when do we expect to get to 100 megawatts, 200 megawatts? If you analyze that based on the way things are happening, it will take us every 20 years, to get 84 megawatts. So you can imagine all of us will be very old before we even experience access to energy in Grand Cru, in Bapolo, in Maryland, or even in River G or Grand G or Sino. You understand? So we have to be deliberate and see leadership in Liberia as a matter of urgency. That the people of Liberia need these things urgently. Look, why should we take 6 years to build 22-kilometer road from Ramosfield to Kehleboe Junction? 6 years? So when will the Quarter Road reach a Greenfield? To government camp? What we need to other parts of the country. If it would take 6 years, that means every time you build 22-kilometer road, no, it's not good for us. So that's why Monuba has always said, if we don't change the way we draft our budget, we are going to be stuck into this system for the next 50 or more years. Because if we keep having a budget where we have 10% going to the people and 90% goes on the government and its officials, then I don't see us making progress as early as we want it. And so we have to be deliberate and see this thing as a matter of urgency that, look, no need to be buying cars that will worth $45,000 for anybody in government. Nobody should run a car and be paid 10,000, 11,000 working in the government. No one should be paid even 8,000 at the same time giving you scratch card, $2,000 scratch card, giving you $500, this and that. All kind of unnecessary benefits. You understand? So this is now, they will not move us forward. So we have to be, and this thing that we taught the people to understand that these are the things that are all backward. And because again, Mr. Gayman, most people in Liberia have not had the time to see what's happening around them. So they feel that what's happening with them here is good as all about life. But go out there, see what's happening in Sierra Leone, in Freetown, see what's happening in Guinea, in Conakry, see what's happening in Abidjan. Then when you come back, you have a different mindset to know how you will vote, how you will respond to political situation in the country. But other than that, we will say at least, and that's what that one word I really hate to say at least, but at least it's bringing us down. So what we have now is not enough. What we have now in Liberia is not enough. We should not appreciate what we have. We should demand more. If you can't make it, get off the way. The other people can give us something we need because we don't know how long we're here for. We can't be here waiting for when we receive a paved road in Fonjama or in Greenville or in Barclayville and we are waste more. No, I don't know when I will see. I want you to do it now, and we have the means now to do it. If you can't get it done, get off the way. So the minister said we should build Ministry of Bread and Butter. You understand? Now you heard that right from Mr. Garguah and Mr. Fofana.
Oh yeah, we're building that right now as we speak.
That was for me. That statement is a complete arrogant statement, and it shows a clear disrespect to the Liberian people. Disrespect. You see, so our guys get so emotional when people make statements about the way they're governing the country. Then they go out of contact. They go completely out of contact and make all kind of statements. How you say will be? Oh, you want all bail, physical bread, physical butter? Is that what you don't understand that when you are just at the University of Liberia arguing the same argument our bread and butter issue, or because today you are Minister of Finance and you control the price of the country and you decide you decide whose debt you will pay at what time. That's not good for Liberia. Look, Liberia is a small country of less than 6 million people. This country to be built, and the children should be born in this country and see good life here. You can. I was born and raised in Lofa. The very things I saw growing up in Lofa, they are still there. Right now, I'm 57 years old. You know what I'm saying? So what do you expect? Fonjama, Kolahu, Zozo, Foya. I'm to Lofa now. Those places are still the same. Since I was born, the things I saw there are still the same. Nothing has changed there. Nothing has changed. That's when I call and tell me say something has changed in Fonjama or Zozo or Kolahu or Foya. What has changed? I started with the building, the duplex now in Foya. They say Foya has changed. Because almost all the best in Lofa, basically you find it in Foya now. You know, all the best thing you find in Lofa, they are built in Foya. It's not built in Fonjama. It's not built in Zozo. It's not built in Salaye. It's not built in Vahun. In fact, Vahun is the most underserved region of Lofa County. And I heard that the government is working now with the Ministry of Defense, the Army Engineering Team to work on that road. I really hope that will happen. I will be proud to see that happening because Vahun is really underserved. So that's why you go to Vahun, Mr. Gayman, they put Transart there in Lyons. They don't Transart in Liberia, in Liberia. They Transart in Lyons because it's easier to just walk across the border, go to Sierra Leone, to Penembu, or that area around there, Transart and come back. You can't bring that in Vahun, you will see your time. You will save your hand, you bring it back. Or you have to convert it to Sierra Leone money so you can be able to Transart business in Vahun. Right in Liberia. You understand?
Well. Not to cut you off, but if we have Mr. CZ Goya, we just learned that while you sitting at the border, we are using Lyon in that part of the country.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Honorable Nagbe,
yeah,
we got 10 minutes here, so we have to close it down so we can have the folks go on to enjoying the weekend. We are talking about something. I want you to close on this, where the gentleman is saying that we, not just CMC, but those of us who are in the opposition, whatever it is that you are doing, it has to be predicated on educating our folks, voters, aware that all the good things we are talking. Hopefully, we are not just talking to each other or preaching to the choir. If we done, Parliament use our system to pollinate the message, to talk to other people outside of our cycle. According to actual factual here, we are wasting our time. We are not going anywhere. So what is it that we need to do as we are building bridges, we are educating, as we are building roads, we are educating, continuously educate, and not just say, well, I build a bridge, the folks here know I build a bridge, they will do this for me. No, that's not enough. You got to do more than that.
Yeah. Actual factual, I think that's something that's been pointed out here. And I'll be honest with you, we in the UPP, this is a discussion we've had over the past several years now. We think the new frontier, having fought for multi-party democracy, and now the space has been democratized. Now we have a multiplicity of parties. Within the next frontier is voters' education and empowering our people to give them the capacity to discern, who is a fake and charlatan. And I don't want to go to having we say, and talk about multi-bank and all that stuff, but our people should be able to sniff out, people who are coming to them with fake, words. They should be able to uh, determine now on their own, and that's what we need to do to help them make that determination to assess our candidates, not only based on the spoken word that they are coming with to us, but what is their track record? Do they have the capacity to deliver on what they're promising us? If you're running on a party's ticket and the party has a presidential candidate in the race, and the presidential candidate is promising maybe renovating the university campus, and you, the candidate, you're promising free education for the entire country, that's a problem, because then you are promising more than even your own party is able to do. So that is, I think that is something that is quite correct, actual factual. People should be helped, and voter education basically is helping our people to assess our candidates and make the right choices. Decide who is best fit for their area, who is coming with authentic, deliverable commitments, promises to the people who are coming to the people and not just coming to impose on them, but actually coming in and listening to them and deriving their projects, their platform, based on the needs of the people, as have been put forward by them, based on their lived experiences. I think it's a mistake we all have made, that you come from somewhere else and you come with ready-made solution for the people, and most often than not, those solutions, because we see them happening and they're working for other communities. We want to force our communities to be like those communities, and most times, they turn out to be the wrong match for our people. So those are the things I think we all need to also devote time to, helping our people, so that they can make the right choices when they go to the ballot box. I think right now our people are suffering because I come on here every day and call for the legislature to be audited. I think our people, and this is why, if you notice, the return rate in the legislature is very, very minimal. Somebody did a math the other day. I think the return rate is less than 2%. Those who have been re-elected, because they come in and they promise the people pie in the sky, and then when they elect them, some of them don't ever come back. And so they end up not re-electing them. But our people now, we need to help them decide from the get-go, even before these people are given the first opportunity, because some of these people, they know what they're doing. They're counting on being elected for 9 years. After 9 years, you've had enough. You move on to the next life.
Or you may not even be alive in 9 years.
Exactly. So I agree with actual factual, and I think all of our politicians, political leaders, I think that's something we all need to really devote a lot of attention to, voters' education to empower our people to make the right choices based on, concrete factors, not just the person coming and delivering a good speech. Yeah, we said that about Senator Khan and other that. Yeah, delivery matters, but it shouldn't just be based on delivery alone. It should be based on demonstrated capacity based on your track record of delivery.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We got 4 more minutes here. We will give Johnny. I was just about to say, down go Johnny. They gave you the left hook, but they like him back because you went dark there for a while. Johnny, your party comment, your closing comment.
Jerome, your boy Robert is not happy being in the back forever, so I'm just letting you know. So he's coming on. He wants to come on. I know he's coming up swinging. So just be ready. Be ready for the young Robert Garguah. He said he's been in the back forever. So Myean, if you're there, please bring me some.
Johnny, your closing comment. They can come by later on and do the midnight Friday night. That's good. Go ahead, Johnny.
All right. So, let me appreciate the both of you for holding the show on today, and I want to give my hands up to our viewers and followers. They are the reason why we are here. I will always want to respect them. And let me say, Liberia is the only place we have to make better for ourselves. So let's work together. We can have our different political parties, political views, but we are all considered as Liberians. Our interest is to make Liberia better and not to hate each other, not to destroy each other. So whoever succeeds to take over the country should see us as one family and treat us as one. Don't treat us as partisans. Treat us as citizens. That's my advice I have for all of us. When they treat us as citizens, not partisans. Partisans are doing a campaign period. After campaign, we have citizens. So thank you. Let's go out with this message that Liberia belongs to all of us. The young people of this country need to play. They need to get educated. They need to get educated. They need health care. It's not too good for us. Our children are in the street. They need to be taken from the street and make good Liberians. They are good Liberians. Those young guys in the street, they have talent in them that can build this country. So let's see them as part of us. So thank you, and hope to see you on Monday.
Thank you, Johnny. And let me thank Actual Factual. Thank you for the
thank you guys for your input.
Yep.
We see you on Monday, same time. We'll be here talking issues that are germane to your well-being. So to my brothers and sisters in Lofa County, Vanjiman, Zozo, and if you're for River G, Maryland County, Grand Bassa County, we say good night and have a very beautiful weekend. Don't do what I won't do. Bye for now. Thank you, guys. See you Monday.
Thank you. Good night. Robert is not happy, but we'll talk about that on Monday.
Hey, Monday, that's how we're going to do. Thank you.
Yeah.